the 1999 Act was a one-size-fits-all act, and it just made the rules the same all over the state. So then there was a progression of amendments and regulations and various things going through, as you say, right until 2018, which tried to marry what individual people were trying to do on their land and to make their land productive and make their land better, with this sort of huge drive to regulate trees. In doing, and what was happening to the tree population of the state, in doing so, there was sort of not an overall holistic view of individual environments. Again, the VMA Act said what you could do in a rainforest was the same as what you could do where we lived, which was an arid zone grassland woodland system. So managing land is very complex. It's not a simple rule. So in our view as landholders, we had to keep on trying to make the requirements of the Act, the purposes of the Act, fit with what we could see on the ground, which, for example, in around 2013, for example, because there had been a very big rain event in 2011-12, we had this massive outbreak of seedling growth of gidgee, which was the predominant tree edging our grasslands. And under the Act, you couldn't just go and clear that up, because it said you've got to leave one tree out of 20, so it, over the period of time, the whole emphasis was, there was communication, there was a lot of dialogue, there was a lot of submission writings, there were regional management groups, there were plans for this and plans for that, but they constantly were being changed. My sense now is that through what I'm seeing, even though I don't live in that environment anymore, through what I'm seeing is that people are recognising that it is more complex than just having an act that says we're going to call these trees original trees and we're going to call these trees non-original trees, and you may be able to do something in the non-original trees, but you can't do anything in these other trees. And it's just not as simple as that. And I see both from the herbarium in Brisbane, who were the people where the mapping and everything was done. I guess the other point I want to make is that everything relied on how your particular property was mapped, and a lot of the mapping, particularly when in the first decade at least, was incorrect, because there weren't the resources in the department to go out and ground truth. And so you were constantly trying to say, actually, see, you've mapped this as grassland, but it's covered in these trees that are actually eating up the grass. I don't know if that sort of gives you a picture, but it was a very complex. There was a lot of landholder requirements, and it happened in other states as well. But we're talking about Queensland.